and welcome back to Let's Play E7. Last time, after meeting up with the king to find out that he is the elder of the Edona tribe, he sent us off to the Ruins Island, where this is where the final altar is located, the altar of the Sea Dragon. Now, we explored a little bit of the Edona Village inside Ruins Island, and we found the Gratios Talisman, which allows us to breathe underwater. Very handy, as there are a lot of flooded areas to deal with in this dungeon. I'm not going to be focusing too much on fighting everything, because we've got quite a bit to get through, but we will fight what is along the way, try to get a couple levels, though, unlike my usual— Whoa! Woof. Whirlpool there. Huh. I wonder if there's a way we can get past that. Unlike my usual forays into the dungeon, where I cut the video when we reach the boss, this time around I actually did pre-make a save file with us prepared for the boss fight. These Nautilus-looking guys here, they are strike weak, rather. So, good chance to get it all out here and use Photon Blade. As you can see, Photon Blade does little damage per hit, but I think it hits twice. It also has excellent reach. Inside this chest, we get a Rolika Muskra, which is light armor. Geis, much like Dogi, can utilize light armor. We'll put that on him since he's in the active party. Now, you might have gotten a quick glimpse of it there, but yeah, the basic attack on heavy swords, very slow, very awkward and unwieldy. It is not at all recommended that you use them. You should stick to slashing or piercing swords for Adol. Man, I wonder if there's a way we could just get around having to worry about Adol's attacking type. Oh well, it's not the world we live in, at the moment anyway. Nope, I didn't want to go that way. That sends us back to the start. Let's ride this whirlpool down. I noticed that there's a bit of there's like a weird pedestal there. I wonder if there's anything we can do with that. Yeah, I forgot if there was a treasure over that way, and nope, there's just way back. The way we actually want to go is this way. I'm just gonna double check over here real quick. Yeah, there's nothing, so let's go on. Up here, we will come across one big ol' fish. Now, you may have noticed we're using the Gratios Talisman. Does that mean the alias urn that I bought to help us with collecting materials and junk when we kill enemies? Am I not going to be able to use that for most of the dungeon? Yes. It's rather unfortunate. This guy, a little annoying to deal with. As you can see, he likes to lunge at you, does some pretty heavy damage. As a matter of fact, let's switch to Adol and do a few Earth Shakers, try and get the stun damage, or the stun gauge maxed out. Alright, and once that's done, we will switch over to Geis, spam Reaper. Remember, you want to get Reaper learned before the end of this dungeon. Well, okay, not before the end of this dungeon. You just really want to get Reaper learned if you plan on selling the halberd for extra money. Although I would not advise that, because again, the halberd is the only weapon that has Reaper on it. So if you want to level that skill up, and it's a pretty decent skill for Geis, I would strongly advise keeping the halberd all game. Adol learned Photon Blade. That's one of the nice things about having training rings on everyone. When I'm spamming my skills, they are doing the same with their own, so they get their skills up. These little lizard puppies here, they like to teleport before actually going on the offensive. It's just kind of a weird gimmick they have. Yeah, right there. We want to gather some of that ore there, so we'll take this guy out so he can get in the way. One thing to note about the outdoor areas here is that you actually do have passive HP regeneration, like if you were out in the field, compared to most other dungeons, so you don't need that Dragon Energy Orb. Likely they did that so the player wouldn't be as stymied by the inability to go back to a store to buy healing items, should they need it. Now, just got one last thing. We need the Gratios Talisman for a bit. After that, I'm going to switch back to the alias urn, just so we can collect these things. We would be in the water too long if we tried to fight these guys without the Gratios Talisman, and we'd start drowning. And drowning drains your HP very rapidly. And we get new armor for Aisha, chain clothes, very good upgrade for her. And yeah, this is what I was talking about about not worrying too much about getting overly prepared. We're not going to go that north way because it just leads to a dead end. We got these monkey enemies here. They just do this simple 3-swipe attack. Once you avoid that, it's very easy to just wail on them. They also stun pretty quickly. You may notice that we've got a bit of wind here. We're going to put on the wind cape, and float up here, get an extra item. Now we're going to re-equip the alias urn. We don't need the other artifacts for a little bit. There is a treasure awaiting us up here, so we're just going to take out the enemies that await us and get that uncontested. But yeah, I'm mostly going to be sticking to spamming Reaper, just because it's the only weapon skill we have for Geist at the moment. So, by extension, that skill is going to level up the quickest. There is one chest that we really, really want to get, because it gives a phenomenally useful weapon, and it's going to give Aisha what is hands down her best skill in the game. Quite possibly be the best skill in the game, period. Here we get a Knight's Crest. This is an accessory that increases your experience gain by 25%, I believe, and it's specific to the character that equips it, if I'm understanding how it works correctly. It's pretty bad for the same reason that Geist's support ability is pretty bad. You know, EXP just starts scaling downward so much. A multiplicative modifier just does not help that much. Alright. Got more materials to gather here, so let's just take this guy out. Man, we're dragging him across the whole stage. Okay, let's grab that. So for the ore points, we get marble. You can also get rare blue stones on occasion. Haven't had the luck to get that so far, but I already got some in the pre-made file. The blue stones, unfortunately, do not contribute to a quest where we could get a lot of money, which is a bit of a shame. They also aren't a part of any synthesis that I'm particularly interested in doing. Not that I can recall. There's a few synthesis items that recall stones, but the only one that I enormously care about is the energy orb, which requires the black stones. Otherwise, it's not something to worry about too much. Here we've got the Estoc. This is a Pierce-type sword for Adol. It also teaches him a new skill, Scud Sword. This is a pretty interesting skill. It's one of Adol's only projectile options, so it gives him some enhanced range, which is something that he otherwise kind of lacks. I guess Photon Blade and Strength Blast kind of cover that niche, but not quite as well as Scud Sword does. We're going to keep that off of Adol, just for the moment, so that we can focus on having coverage instead. I will be equipping Estoc a lot, at least I'll try to remember to equip Estoc for the boss, since as you noticed, it is a fair deal stronger than the heavy sword. I already forget what the heavy sword's name is. I was on the equipment screen a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago even, so I should remember it, but I don't pay that much attention, which you've probably noticed if you followed my videos. Alright, we're just gonna run past these guys, no need to deal with them, there's no items to collect on this screen. Just gonna sweep around and make sure I'm correct in that assertion, and I was. Taking this elevator down, if I can use the right button. Sorry, I've been playing a bit of Resident Evil 2, and whenever I'm playing multiple action games at the same time, I always get my buttons mixed up. I'm doing surprisingly okay at Resident Evil 2, considering I haven't played that game in years. It's the original version. I'm playing it on the Sega Dreamcast, and I've managed to finish every playthrough I've done so far with an A rank, and I just did Claire A with a time of 2 hours and 11 minutes. Pretty nice. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it without saves, because I was playing it at like midnight last night, and I needed to stop to go to sleep. Here in this chest, we get spiked leather. This is an armor upgrade for Adol. Not sure why leather is stronger than the plate mail he's got on right now, but whatever. 30 plus 30 defense, very nice. We're going to be heading into the water. Be very careful with these shellfish enemies. Very weirdly, they're not strike weak. Anybody can damage them just as effectively, but what they do have is the ability to freeze you with those little geysers they shoot up, and they can freeze you repeatedly and just lock you in place, and you kind of have to switch characters in that situation, because your allies will not attack if you're not attacking, and they can just freeze you repeatedly. It's really annoying. Now, in that chest, we get hands down the most important treasure in this area, Kentha. The reason for that is that it teaches Aisha Aqua Burst. Aqua Burst is an amazing skill. One of the best skills in the game, and possibly the best skill. It doesn't have much competition, really. What this skill does is, let's use it on these guys. You fire it off, and it hits them, burst, hits them with multiple projectiles that deal as much as the initial shot does, and it does several hundred damage at this point, and it can do well into the thousands once we hit endgame. It is so good. This is one of 2 skills in the game that I feel is actually worth grinding up to level 10, so definitely use this and use it heavily. I was using it heavily off screen and got it up to level 5, and believe me, we're almost certainly going to max it out before the end of the game. In these kind of shallow areas here, we can find, or coral formations, we can find more marble. No bluestones, I think. Here we've got a Pierce Weak enemy. If you want to use S-Stock at this point, by all means. The shellfish actually are, or the mollusk enemies, those are only encountered like in the water and being, so I suppose the coverage isn't that necessary, but I'm not going to be using Adol much anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. I suppose I could throw an S-Stock on him just so he could start learning the Scud Sword, but I'd rather you get the extra experience on Photon Blade. But as you can see, what is it? Aqua Burst tears through enemies pretty efficiently. There we get a Trident, which is a new weapon for Geis, and it teaches him in his next skill. We already got Reaper learned, so let's get that on him. It teaches a skill called... Sorry, I already forgot. It's called Flash Lance. It's a weird launcher combo. It's not that great, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of it, but we'll learn it for him. Doing our best to learn as many skills as possible. And of course, there is a Steam achievement for learning every skill as every character. There is also an achievement for maxing out every skill for a single character, and we'll get into why it's just max out every skill for one character when we actually get the opportunity where we can do that in a reasonable amount of time. So we picked up that Naiad statue, and it looks like it has control over the waters in the area. Fascinating. Now, over this way, heading up the ramp back into the previous area, actually, because we have a shortcut here. Flip this switch and bring this bridge down. And we're back in that connecting area that took us to the elevator. We want to head back this way. Now, we actually do want to go back to the elevator in order to progress the dungeon, but there's a couple other things we can do with the Naiad statue that we just obtained. So let's take out the guys along the way and utilize the Naiad statue to, well, I'll just show you right here. Examine this thing, and you can place the Naiad statue on it. And this will shut down the waterworks, and this will clear out the waterfall. This is that northern path that we could have taken when we first entered this area. If we had come this way, of course, it would have been blocked off the waterfall. Now we can head on down. I'll put the alias urn back on since we don't need the Gratios Talisman at the moment. In here, we've got more enemies to contend with. There is also something very notable here. Let's take out this guy so that I can actually get it. That little coral formation there is actually a wood gathering point. Yeah, video game logic, don't worry too much about it. And it gives us fossilized twig. Oh geez, it's also submerged in water. I did not realize that. Okay, be careful there. Yeah, when you start to drown, the screen goes blue like that. But it gives us fossilized twigs. These are a synthesis wood item that will become available in upcoming dungeons, and this is your opportunity to actually get a head start on gathering some of them, and that can actually be pretty worthwhile if you stick around here, because there are going to be quite a few recipes that will give us some good equipment that require fossilized twigs, and this is our only opportunity to get them before heading into later dungeons, so... if you want to do that, you can. I don't really like standing around waiting for gathering points to respawn. It takes a few minutes, which is not too bad, but I'm just not a fan of doing it. Here we get a Garmin Cestus, which is an upgraded weapon for Dogi. Dogi's going to be sitting this dungeon out, though, so we'll just hang on to that for later. Over here, we're going to find a bunch of chests with consumable items in them. And now that Aisha has Aqua Burst, we can take out these giant fish in very effective safety. And this is one of the big advantages of Aqua Burst. You just fire it, forget it, you can start dodging immediately, and it does a ton of damage. It's far and away one of the least committal level or tier 3 skills in the game. Here we get a bunch of Natalie extracts, and over here is a Sabrina incense. This is why I was saying you don't need to worry too much about being stocked up on items, because you get, oh hey, more fossilized twigs over here, very nice, because you get plenty of consumables from the treasure around this area. Now we have to double back quite a bit to get to the next point where we can use the Naiad statue, so I'm just going to cut ahead to where that is. Meet you in a bit. It almost slipped my mind to mention, but you do in fact need to go back and grab the Naiad statue. Ah, this puppy's getting in my way. But yes, the Naiad statue can be recollected to re-engage the waterworks. Alright, now for real, I'll meet you at the next area we can use it. Alright, back at that whirlpool that sucked us in earlier, we can use the Naiad statue on the pedestal here. Now, I'm gonna tell you this right now, this treasure really isn't that worth the backtracking for, but just for the sake of actually completing everything as fully as possible, we will get the Eye of Fire. This is not an ailment protection item, this is an ailment inflicting item. It is the opposite. It allows us to inflict ailments on the enemies. This one specifically, if I can find it in my inventory, I never use these, so I don't know where they are. Oh, never mind. I was wrong. We're getting that later. This actually prevents freezing. Okay, disregard that. Sorry, I've never bothered with this because freezing isn't too terrible an ailment. We will be getting ailment-inflicting items later, though. Sorry, the name kind of confused me. Alright, I'll grab the Naiad statue and meet you at the place we actually need to use it. Alright, here we are back at the elevator that we took earlier. We want to take this down because when we were coming through here, you probably noticed that the path split off to the north. That takes us to another whirlpool where we can use the Naiad statue to clear it. So let's head that way. Taking the northern path now, let's just drop the Naiad statue in the pedestal. And deactivate that sucker. Alright, now we can get on through. Obviously, if you try to walk past it, it's just going to drop you down into the area where you get Cantha. There is two ways to go. We're going to take the left path, because this is the way we need to go. Don't worry, we'll be taking that right path later. There's just no reason to do so at the moment. Down here, you want to make sure you have the Graphios talisman equipped preemptively, or else you will start drowning as soon as you enter here. Yeah, kind of a nasty thing to do. Granted, you probably should have seen that coming, considering you were going down a ladder into the water. I just can't help but be amused how the entire party has no buoyancy. Especially Aisha, who on her model is just wearing strictly cloth garments. Alright, so we've got a huge bevy of consumable chests here. Get Salimera extracts X3, get Natalie extracts X3. One thing to note about chests that contain multiple items, if you have any space to collect at least one of them, you will grab it, and then you will put the remaining items back in the chest so you can grab them later if you want to. Kind of a nice touch. A Chigal extract, a Marula incense, and a Sabrina incense. One thing to note about the extracts is that we only get a single Chigal extract. We do not get a Kamika extract, so we only have one opportunity to revive our party members should we need it, so be mindful of that. That might actually be something worth buying or synthesizing before you leave here. But we hit the second monument for Ruins Island, and this is right outside the boss, so of course we're going to load our pre-made file where we're actually ready to fight this guy. I've got myself set up, got power risks on Adol and Aisha. Damage is what I care about the most here. Aqua Burst, I'm going to be using this skill heavily in the fight, and it's cheap enough that I don't really feel that the blue jewel is necessary. Maybe if it reduced my SP consumption by even more, it might be worth it, but that is neither here nor there. Geist, I didn't really care about. I just gave him the Scroll of Mastery so that he could get some extra crits. We want to put the S-Talk on Adol, since it's stronger and faster than, what is that? The Great Sword. So that is just the way more effective way to go with him. With that all taken care of, we can get to the boss proper. Alright. What nasty Titano awaits us here? You know, this might seem like a random time to mention it, but I just remembered when we were fighting those great fish, I didn't point out, you get Titano bones from those guys, and we are now running into enemies who will drop the Titano materials, which will be important for synthesis later. That aside, there's this cute little octopus creature floating around. And it seems He powers up this considerably less friendly-looking squid creature. This is the demonic octopus. No, okay, octopus. Avariel. This fight has a bit of a gimmick to it. That little octopus we saw flying around, he will go into either Avariel's main body or one of the tentacles that is around this area. And if whatever one he's in, that's what you have to attack to actually damage them. The other things, your attacks will just bounce off because they were guarded. When I was practicing this, I was having a lot of trouble actually flash guarding the attacks this guy does. They have very odd timings, so it's a bit tricky. I might take a lot of damage in this fight. Fortunately, this guy, on the whole, is a lot easier than Cavakelos was. Whenever you flash guard something, you always want to try and nail him with Aqua Burst. Oh, there the octopus is flying around, so now it's in this top right tentacle. So you want to start attacking that. These, oh man. Oh, better use a Natalie extract here. Want to save our incenses for later when our other party members are down. You'll see that I'm level 32 here. I got to that level just by playing the area naturally. This is probably the ideal level to be at. I don't think it's necessary to grind anymore. Okay. Oh no, wrong one. And Aqua Burst did not redirect. Aqua Burst can redirect into the correct enemy if you whiff it on one of the things that's guarding. Oh dear. Cavakelos, or oh no, why do I forget the boss's names? This guy, we can hit the octopus while it's flying around. He can freeze you a lot. The octopus boss, whatever. I don't know why I'm so bad about remembering bosses' names in this game. I just never think about it. This guy's just always the octopus. You know, I haven't been thinking about this too hard. We better, actually... Yep. Hit him with an EX skill if I can get a flash guard going. And we'll nail him with this Arrow Rain. Probably Lunar Blade would be a little bit better, but we'll go with Arrow Rain. Because this brings to... Oh, not Killer Hornet, sorry, I forgot my button. This brings attention to the next thing that's really notable about Aqua Burst. It generates a ton of extra. We got 8 extra points from that. And as Aisha's... support ability grows as she levels, it'll get us even more, and there are ways to really maximize that. Oof. Oh, that was unfortunate. We want Aisha, so I'm just going to drop the Cheagle extract right now. We'll use the Marula incense just to get a little bit of extra HP. I'm doing this fight pretty poorly at the moment. I wasn't thinking to use my extra skill earlier. Don't know if we'll get another one before this fight is over. Now, if you want to, you can stun the little, or this guy. You can stun him to try and get some extra damage in. The best way to do that is Earthshaker, but I feel that Aqua Burst is just the safest and most effective way to go about this. And you may be noticing, we're getting this... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, no, no! Oh no! Oh jeez. This is horrible, this is horrible. Okay, we gotta get over to Aisha. As you can see, he can grab you with the tentacles and heal himself. You need to whack the character out of it. This is the only time you can damage the tentacles that don't have the octopus in it. The little one. One thing that's notable about the tentacle grab is that is the only way a character you are not actively controlling can be killed. If a character drops to 0 HP while they're in that grab, they will die. And oh my god, I'm doing so terrible. Maybe I should have practiced this fight more. As you can see, this one is very easy to take a lot of damage in. It's just, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of stuff that manipulates your movement or locks you in place. Yeah, like these little gravity orbs here. Very nasty. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's just spam Reaper. We don't want Aisha to die. Let her go. Alright. Let's get Adol down. Man, he's restoring a ton of his health. And I think he went into this one. Yes. Alright, we want to hopefully stun him soon. Aqua Burst, it does decent stun damage, but not a ton. I better use this instance. Oh man, I've burned through all my healing items. This fight is going horrible. I can't believe how badly I'm doing this. I feel really bad about it. Okay, we'll build up some more SP, hit him with another Aqua Burst. We're very close to another EX skill. Man, if I could just actually flash guard anything. I don't know why I struggle to flash guard this guy's stuff so much. It feels like in this fight specifically, it just doesn't activate a lot of the time. Alright, now we're going to switch to Adol. Hey, let him go. We're going to switch to Adol, try and hit him with a Lunar Blade. We can more reliably, there we go. And this should deal some good damage here. Alright, now we're just gonna start launching Earthshakers. Frozen. Oh dear. Let's just switch to Geist here. Never mind, we'll start launching Reapers, and there we go. I did that fight horrible. I really shouldn't have used all my healing items there. I'm so sorry. That was atrocious gameplay. Yeah, you said it, Dogie. Guys, you're acting like you're too cool for school. Looks like Geis has his sources, and he is not seeing it fit to disclose them to us. But yes, we are at the altar, conveniently right after the boss fight. Aisha just keeps getting new reasons to dislike Geis. Alright, after that atrocious showing, let's actually get into the altar. Hey, you guys got a level up, nice. Now, at the Sea Dragon altar, what kind of fantastical power are we gonna get here? As soon as the slow text scroll happens. Such a common problem when going into new areas in this game. Let's switch to Adol since it's the most appropriate person to be for this. Yep, this is a Sea Dragon altar, alright. Obalon. Alright, let's touch, get new powers, and see what happens. Got something ominous for us, Obalon? Oh. What do you mean it's already begun? Are you saying we're too late? Well, that does not fill me with confidence. But we get the Sea Seal, the 5th and final seal. This seal gives us new extra skills. Extra skill upgrades aren't terribly interesting. They don't have any different effects. You can't use the old versions either. This is just a straight damage increase and a name change to your extra skills. Yeah. No, don't really pay too much attention to that other improvements thing. It really is mostly just damage that goes up. Guys, what do you know? Of course he's keeping tight-lipped. Well, that's obvious enough. Once again, leaning on that old fourth wall there. Hopefully, the person that Geis is going to introduce us to is considerably less taciturn than he is. Alright, sounds good to me. Let's finally get some context for all this. But that is where we'll be ending the video, as we have quite a bit of plot coming up in the next video, so I don't really want this video to run too long, and I don't really want to break that plot up between multiple videos, and you don't really get a chance to save until it's all said and done. So yeah, we're just gonna save right here, end the video, and when we come back, we will get off Runes Island and see just who Geis wants us to meet. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching. Hope to see you next time. Until then, goodbye.